It was a Monday morning, picture perfect if you ask me, the kind of morning where you're almost convinced your life might actually stay on track for once. I had my coffee, birds were singing, sun just starting to warm the roofs, and then, in a single heartbeat, I stepped out and all that calm just evaporated. There it was, a massive, shiny black SUV, smack dab across my garage. Not off to the side, not slightly blocking. No, this thing was parked like a billboard for bad manners, right across the door, as if my property was some kind of public parking lot. You know what I mean? You stand there, keys in your hand, still half awake, and for a second you wonder if maybe you're dreaming. But then I spotted the license plate, and, oh boy, reality kicked in hard. That's the car, belonged to this kid in the neighborhood, classic Karen in training, maybe 16 if that, with a reputation for acting like the world was just waiting to cater to every whim. And that morning, my garage had apparently been cast as their personal stage. So, I tried the nice approach first. Walked over, probably with more patience than I actually felt, and said, "Hey, excuse me, would you mind moving your car? You're blocking my garage." And this kid, not even looking up from their phone, just flicks out a response. Earbuds in, eyes glazed over with that teen blend of boredom and attitude. Yeah, it's public property. Public property. My driveway, my garage. I could have laughed, but my car was trapped and I had work. So I took a breath, kept my voice even, tried again. "Listen, I get it, but this is private property. I need to get my car out." The kid just shrugged, rolled their eyes, said something under their breath about chill, it's just a car, and went back to scrolling. That's when I knew reason wasn't going to work here. I ran through my options. Confront the parents? Maybe, but that could turn ugly. Just move the car myself? Tempting, but I like my insurance premiums low. Thank you. No, this was one of those call for backup moments. So, I called the police, explained it straight. "Officer, I've got a vehicle blocking my driveway. The driver won't move, says it's public property." It didn't take long. Blue and red lights showed up, and suddenly the quiet street turned into a stage for Act 2. The officers came, all business, and I could see the kid shift a little, still defiant, still muttering, but you could almost hear the gears grinding in their head as the officers patiently explained the basics of property law. Not even a minute later, the kid huffed, started the SUV, and moved off, slow, deliberate, probably hoping to get the last word by wasting as much of my time as possible. Garage free, day rescued. But honestly, the adrenaline had my hands shaking. Still, what stuck with me most wasn't the inconvenience. It was that look, that shrug, that utter disbelief that the rules could possibly apply to them. You ever have a moment like that? Where you know the fight isn't just about what's in front of you, but something deeper? Anyway, with the SUV gone, I thought that was the end. But anyone who's ever met a real-life quarantine knows. These things come in series, not episodes. As the SUV slithered down the street, I watched, part relieved, part just baffled. The officers, kind enough, told me to document everything and call them right back if it happened again. Which is both reassuring and, honestly, a little nuts, because I still couldn't believe I had to explain to a teenager that driveways aren't public property. After the cops left, I just stood there, thinking, should I just go inside, forget it ever happened? But my brain was still running that scene on repeat. The kids smirk, the way they dismissed me like I was just a speed bump in their day. So, I decided to get proactive. Install the camera, nothing flashy, just enough to catch the action if it ever happened again. Felt good to take control, you know? But then the story started spreading. Neighbors stopped by, some with jokes, some just shaking their heads. Someone suggested putting up a big sign. Private driveway, don't even think about it. Social media picked up the scent too. Pretty soon, our neighborhood forum was flooded with stories. Turns out, I wasn't the only one battling the "it's public" crowd. Cars, bikes, random scooters, entitlement everywhere. Weirdly comforting, in a way. And then, because the universe loves a good twist, I saw a post from one of the kids' friends. Some people just don't get it. Public space is for everyone, right? It hit me then. This wasn't just a bad parking job. This was the front line of some generational turf war, with driveways and boundaries as battlegrounds. Next morning, coffee in hand, I spotted that same SUV idling up the street, engine rumbling low like it was thinking about mischief. The kid pulled up, not quite blocking my garage, but close enough to make a point. This time, there was an audience. Mr. Jenkins, retired principal, arms crossed. Mrs. Lopez next door, binoculars out like it was bird watching, but for drama. A handful of neighbors pretending to walk their dogs, but you know they were there for the show. I walked outside, phone ready, calm on the outside. Inside, I was ready for round two. The kid rolled down the window, smirked, and said, "Relax. Just enjoying the morning." Public, right? My patience stretched thin, but I kept my voice level. "No, this is private property. You're blocking my garage again. Please move." Another shrug, another heavy sigh. "You really take this stuff seriously?" I almost lost it, but instead, I hit record, capturing every word, every look. Let me tell you, sometimes you just have to let evidence do the talking. And as if the neighborhood hadn't had enough free entertainment, a crowd gathered. People peeking out, slowing down as they passed, whispering, speculating. It was almost theatrical, suburbia's answer to reality TV. Finally, the police came back, and this time the kids seemed to realize the gig was up. Another lecture, another smirk, but eventually the SUV rolled away, leaving a chorus of muttered rules are dumb. But if you thought the drama was done, think again. By late afternoon, calm settled, but it felt temporary, like everyone was waiting for the next episode. I sat on the porch, coffee cooling, flipping through the security footage, just in time to notice a folded note stuck under my windshield wiper. No threats, no attitude. Just sorry. Didn't know? Teen. Let me back up a sec. After everything, cops, neighbors, online snark, the whole circus, one scrawled apology somehow carried more weight than all the shouting matches. I stared at that note, not sure if I should laugh or brace for another stunt. Was this kid sincere, or just trying to keep me off their back? Turns out, Mr. Jenkins had caught them outside, had a talk. The kind only a retired principal can deliver, you know? Whatever he said, it must have stuck, because not long after, the kid wandered back over, looking awkward but determined. "Hey," they said, not meeting my eyes. "Didn't mean to cause trouble. I get it now. Public, private, your property." Wasn't a speech, wasn't perfect, but it was real. I nodded. What else could I do? After all the back and forth, after every audience, every smirk and sigh, this story closed not with a bang, but with a lesson learned. You could feel the whole block exhale. Even the dogs barking sounded more peaceful. So here's the thing. Boundaries matter, respect matters, and sometimes it takes the whole neighborhood, the law, and a patient old principal to drive that lesson home. The kid learned. I learned. Maybe everyone watching learned a little something too. And let me tell you, backing my car out for the first time in 2 days felt like winning a trophy. The street was quiet again, like none of it had happened, but I knew better. These little everyday battles, they mean something, you know? The kid's SUV disappeared after that, and word spread, don't mess with that driveway. My camera stayed up, just in case, but the real security? That tiny shift in the neighborhood. People nodding as they passed, a little more respect, a little more awareness. But hey, let's be real. Stories like this, they never really end. Maybe next week it'll be someone else, some other public property debate, some new challenge to the rules. What do you think? Was I too strict, or not strict enough? Did the kid really learn? Or was this just another round in the endless suburban game of boundaries and bluffs? I want to hear what you'd do, so drop a comment, share your stories. Would you have handled it the same way, or gone nuclear from the start? Let's hash it out, because, honestly, I think we're all just one block driveway away from our own neighborhood legend.